do? This is what we're on now. Let's go. Let's do. What's up, dude?
Now they lost it on the 40 acres on campus grounds. We gather around, discussing goals and dreams and life's adventures. The Texas Longhorns, they're the talk of the town. Podcast sales of the 40 acres, where we dive deep into the game day stories, from touchdowns to heartbreakers. We discuss it all, Texas Longhorns glory. Yeah, we gather around each Thursday night, talking sports, it's so alright. From football to basketball, baseball to softball, Tim Wayne and Irish, we cover it all. Sports talk is our passion, our delight. Thursday night at 8:30, we unite. We discuss the scores, the plays, the teams who might. Let's dive into the game, let's ignite.
12 conference champions.
Oh, what's up? What's up? We are here. We are excited. 20 little less, probably about 20, probably about 24 hours from now, we will know if the Lady Longhorns will be playing for a national title on Sunday. So we'll talk about it from Austin to Tampa. First of all, shout out.
I thought we were in San Antonio.
The men are in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So from Austin to Tampa. Shout out to Vic Schaefer for getting over the hump, getting it done with this team. You know, we'll talk about it here in a second. Tim, how you doing, man?
I mean, I'm good. This weekend was filled with sports, which was great. Got to watch some UFL. Enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. Got to watch, of course, men's elite, Sweet 16 and Elite 8. That was great. Yeah. Same thing with the women's. I would say, man, the women's was just way more
entertaining
for sure. But listen, hard-fought games. My bracket is busted for sure. But hey, I'm still looking good in our Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast bracket on the women's side. So shout out to those who participated. We had almost 50 people in the men's, and we had a little bit over 30 in the women's. Shout out to y'all. I've been posting the results for the brackets, and as we get closer and the games are closer, you know, we'll post those, and then we'll get in contact with the winners. Again, the winners will each receive a $25 virtual gift certificate so that they can, you know, I don't know, buy a championship t-shirt of their choice. I don't know, do whatever you want with it. But yeah, that's been fun. I've been keeping up with that on a daily. I've also watched this other tournament. It's not the NIT, but it's called the Crown Tournament. I don't know if you heard about this. This is out in Las Vegas. Now there's about 16 teams. And in it's like DePaul, Oklahoma State. I want to say Tulane is in it. It was an interesting tournament. I've watched a majority of it. There were 2 games that came on today as well. I don't know if they're the championship games or not, but I definitely watched them. Those have been fun to watch. The last game I did watch, DePaul got the breaks beat out of them by Oklahoma State, but it was fun to watch. You know, we're getting into that area where it's kind of turning into the dog days, but thank God for spring football and the draft, and we got just so much more stuff. The releasing of NFL schedules, of course. We're definitely tracking to see where our future Longhorns or our former Longhorns are going to be in the pros. So we're definitely looking forward towards that. But yeah, I've enjoyed myself, man. Just looking forward towards more. And yeah, but I was good. What about you? How was your weekend?
The draft is officially 3 weeks from today.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to see.
Yeah. This is going to be one of the more like unpredictable drafts. Like in most drafts, you know, hey, you know, Joe Bob is going to go number 1, and you know, whatever is going to go. honestly, I don't even know who's going to go number one. It
Mm-mm.
might be Cam Ward, right?
Yeah,
It might be Abdul Carter.
it might
And
be.
then what happens to that 2 pick? Could it be Travis Hunter? Do they trade down? Is it Shador? We don't really know.
We don't know.
That's
We
going.
don't know.
This draft's gonna be wild.
And what the crazy thing is that this draft is so deep, you could mess around in day 2 and day 3 in the middle of nowhere and run into a situation where ex big name wide receiver that used to go to here but transferred over here and had a decent year, but was a stud over here before he left and went to this college and got injured. He's in the draft. Like,
Yeah.
like he's in the draft and he's in getting called in the 4th round. And you're like,
Yeah.
this dude was a 5-star stud. He came out, he decided to transfer just because he didn't like the coach or he got in trouble or whatever. And now he's being drafted in the 4th round. That's how deep this thing is going to go. And that is what's exciting for me. I believe that there will at least, and I'm going to make one bold prediction, that there will at least be one Texas Longhorn drafted in every single round. I
can see that.
I think we will get
a really good team
first. I believe we will get one in the 2nd, 3rd through 7th. I believe
for
that.
sure. Yeah, I think that's not far fetched, right? This is a very good team last year, right? Yeah. So that is actually not far fetched.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I look at this draft and they're like, if you're looking for like receiving backs, safeties, edge rushers, linebackers, this is an excellent draft for you. Tight ends, if you're looking for a tight end, this is a great draft.
Yeah, for
right?
Sure.
If you're looking for a quarterback, you might want to trade down. I think there's
a quarterback in just about any one of those rounds.
You could, right? But there's listen, and this might be a hot take by me. I don't even think Cam Ward's a franchise quarterback.
You don't think Cam Ward's
No, I don't think
Cam Ward's a franchise
quarterback. No.
Ooh, okay.
I think Shador. Here's the thing, right? When you look at like the number 1 pick, right, and you look at the quarterback position like over the last just 10 years, right? Okay. Every year you look at a guy like that guy is the guy. Like Joe Burrow, you knew he was a franchise quarterback and he was going number 1.
Right.
You knew Jaden Daniels in the right situation could be the number 1 guy. Right. You knew like these guys, like, if I look at Cam Ward, and this could just be my lack of ball knowledge, and it probably is. I think Cam Ward, you know what Cam Ward reminds me of? He reminds me of a playground quarterback. Like if I was playing NFL Street, I think Cam Ward would be awesome. But when I look at his film, and it's just like the way he plays.
Somebody might actually clip that, and that might put us on the internet because that's a wild take.
It's not a wild take because if I look at like how he reads, if I look at the way he plays like in game and how he's reading defenses, to me as a like a person that's like doesn't know the intricacies of the X's and the O's,
right?
It looks like he's just like going out there and doing and just throwing the ball up in the air and hoping it sticks. I'm not convinced that he's reading the defenses and understand. Like, I don't feel like a lot of the stuff he does at the college game is going to work at the NFL level. That's you hear that a lot, right? Safeties are faster. Linebackers are, everybody is faster. So you know how he just like stands in the pocket and like does these like shimmy, like these shimmies and all this like wild stuff that he does. I think it's entertaining as hell. I love his talent. But when it comes down to like playing the quarterback position, and I didn't really start thinking about this until like last week. I was just sitting there. I was like, they were showing us the highlights and like, look at him. He's just like kind of doing that. And it's like he's not giving any effort. Yes, I think that's true. But at the same token, this is the NFL, and these athletes are just insane, right? So are we really sure that he's able to like truly play the quarterback position, like the quarterback position, it should be played at that level. I don't
Okay.
know. And maybe he was playing down to his competition and that's why he was doing those things. But then also if you look at some late game situations, especially late in the season, those costed them some games.
I don't believe that there. I will say this: there was one game that they should have lost. That was against Virginia. That was against Virginia Tech. They should have lost that game. But there was a lot of these games weren't their fault. Now the Virginia Tech game was strictly defensive. They couldn't stop Virginia Tech's running back to save their life. They could not do it, and that's
Yeah,
not
they
on
can
Cam
stop a lot
Ward.
of things. Save
You
their
can't.
life.
That's not on Cam Ward, though. You know what I'm saying? And so there was a lot of variables in a lot of those games. Now, could Cam Ward have put more points on the board? Potentially, yes. But a lot of those games were because of that defense. That defense broke down and gave up a lot of games.
Yeah.
And when you give up a lot of games, again, that doesn't necessarily make you look bad as a quarterback, but it does leave a sour taste in your mouth. Now, I know for a fact, up until like, I want to say like week 4 or 5, it was Cam Ward. It was Cam Ward and Travis Hunter for a while.
For the Heisman? Yeah.
For the Heisman. For about
for a long time,
first 5
right?
weeks, and then it kind of tapered off again. Cam started losing. Travis had more and more situations where he had an opportunity to shine. He was in more shootouts with other teams and things of that nature versus Miami giving up, more games and late in the end where Cam really didn't have enough time to do something to get that Heisman moment. Now, did he have Heisman moments? Yes. There are moments where he had though. But in all, like, I still think that I don't necessarily want to say that he's not a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
But I do think that he will be a good quarterback in the NFL. I would say he would be a bigger, better Teddy Bridgewater. And Teddy Bridgewater, when healthy and given the opportunity and he's not playing cleanup, Teddy Bridgewater was a great quarterback. Matter of fact,
really
Teddy
good.
Bridgewater might be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets.
But was Teddy Bridgewater did but I guess like it's hard to say with Teddy Bridgewater because like
he was injured.
He was injured. But if he wasn't injured, is Teddy Bridgewater is probably like a fringe playoff quarterback, right?
How many playoff quarterbacks are there in the NFL?
No, I'm not saying like that is a bad thing, but I'm just asking like his barometer is probably that. And so when you go and spend this is my point. When you go spend the number 1 pick and that's what it turns into.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
You just don't know at this point. Like nobody knows.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's right. And it's all about the organization and how they build it. Like there's a lot of different factors.
There's
right?
a lot of variables and factors. Yeah. Yes, for sure. Yes.
But what you just described, you know who what you just described reminds me of in the NFL? What? Tony Romo. It doesn't matter how many points Tony Romo put up, right? And it doesn't matter how bad the defense was. If Tony Romo wasn't winning the game when the game mattered, guess who got the blame?
He did.
Tony Romo. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Cam Ward in the NFL. It doesn't matter. Like you say, oh, well, yeah, that Miami defense was bad. That doesn't matter in the NFL. If you're the quarterback and you're not winning in those situations, you're going to get crucified.
No, for sure.
And that's and when I look at it from that lens and what he is and knowing how his style of play, I'm not hating. I think Cam Ward is awesome. But when I look at the landscape and understand like the fandom piece of this, right? If you're not winning at the end of the day and you're not going to be able to produce results, then that's going to be a problem, especially in the expectation as the number 1 pick is you are producing results in the first year.
That's unfortunate that we've gotten to that point right now. I think that's just the state of football and the state of the fan base.
Yeah.
The fan base has more power than ever before, right? You got situations where fans are calling for people's jobs, fans are not showing up to games, fans are not paying for season tickets, they're turning in their season tickets. Yeah. And that, unfortunately, when you start affecting the dollars that are supposed to be coming in, you run into a situation where you have to do something because
Sure.
if you let's just be completely honest, unless the Raiders are winning, they're not actually going to be on the Sunday night game of the week. That
For sure.
that very rarely happens. You know why that very rarely happens? Because they don't have
Don't win
bunches
football
of teams,
games.
and they're not winning football games. And
Yeah.
and even though they have a rabid fan base, they don't have a large enough fan base to make a difference.
Yeah.
And they're one of the oldest teams in the league, but their fans are, let's be honest, their fans are either fair weather fans because they've moved to Vegas, they've left the hardcore fans behind in Oakland, so now in Los Angeles, and now Los Angeles has two teams. You run into a situation where that fan base is kind of split amongst states, so you don't have the solidity or a solid fan base that can affect your margin. There's people all over the place, so you run into these situations where if a quarterback doesn't work out or a first round draft pick doesn't work, could you imagine what the Falcons would be doing if Bijan Robinson wasn't Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, or Michael Penix didn't even look half as good as Michael Penix does. Because
Bijan, honestly, if Bijan was like an okay running back, or if he
would
wasn't who he is right now, he wouldn't be on. I don't think he would be on the Falcons because they
he wouldn't
do the best to get rid of him, get rid of him while maybe his rookie deal is over. They're not going to extend him; they're going to get rid of him, or maybe even trade him to get some type of draft capital because that's what we're in right now. And that's unfortunate because that kind of trickles down to college, right? Same thing with these guys. They don't get the starting position that they want, a la Jonte Cook. You get a Jonte Cook situation where he feels like he should get the ball more. He feels like he should be starting. He feels like a number of things, but he's not actually doing his part on top of that. We know he has the talent because we see it flash before us.
Yeah.
He gets into a situation with the team a couple of times, and now he's gone. Now we don't know where Jonte Cook is. Jonte Cook has been arrested 3 times since he's transferred.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? And you know why it's so important that this number 1 pick works out? Because your quarterback works out because there's so many examples of quarterbacks that are successful in that first year.
Right.
Jane Daniels, success.
Right.
Whether you like him or not, Bo Nix was successful last year as a rookie. And so you see those examples, and then you look at the number 1 pick. Why am I spending the number 1 pick on Caleb Williams if he can't even, it takes him like 6 games to get his first touchdown pass.
Right.
What about Bryce Young in his rookie year? He was atrocious. We know that's because Frank Reich was an egghead and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, and then turned it around.
He turned it around though, right? But those fan bases, they see and then they want, right? They see they're like Bo Nix, what played quarterback for 58 years. Well, that's why Bo Nix played well in his first year as a rookie because he has played quarterback for so long.
Yeah. I think you run into a situation where you have that in-game experience, and when you come to the next level, even though you do run into a situation where you become shell-shocked. The beginning of Bo Nix's career, he did not have a good couple of games. He definitely threw a couple of pick sixes, gave up a couple of important balls. They lost those games too.
Sure, yeah.
Turned it around and
figured it out.
Situation where it's immediate impact, man. I think about a lot of situations. I think about DJ Lagway. Remember, we had the same discussion last year with DJ Lagway, Texas kid coming out, 5-star recruit, big time recruit, heavily recruited, was sitting behind somebody. Guy leaves, guy gets injured. We're like, hey, Florida's head coach needs to do something because he's about to lose his job. He throws DJ Lagway in there. They look like a whole different team. Now they're saying, oh, you can't sleep on Florida. You can't go into games. Gainesville and think you're going to come out with an easy win. That's not the case.
It's a tough game. Yeah, it's a tough game all of a sudden.
Because now you got DJ, you got some guys coming in from the transfer portal. You got a whole bunch of guys coming. I mean, you could say the same thing about Isaiah Bond. You could say the same thing about a lot of guys. Makuba, when they came in from Clemson, these guys were like highly touted, highly recruited guys in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
They weren't nothing to play around with, but they were able to add on to their team immediately. And I think the thing about the difference between college and the NFL, you don't do great. You have a bad year, you can transfer to another team. You can transfer to another school and ball out and be successful. You can't do that in the NFL. But two different markets, two different games, but it's still interesting, man. Anyway, let's pay some bills real quick.
I was gonna say we were 22 minutes in, so let's just make this quick. FanBattleSports.com, go visit it.
Yes, sir.
Also on Longhorn Fan Battle at LH Fan Battle. We are close to 23,000 followers, and we appreciate the love. Also, we just hit 1,000 followers on TikTok. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Tim Wayne. He's been busting his butt, putting content out there as much as he can, getting that stuff situated and up and running. So appreciate you, Tim, on keeping up on the TikTok.
Yes, sir.
But follow us on Twitter at Longhorn Fan Battle. And of course, follow the YouTube channel, Longhorn Fan Battle. We're at 72 subscribers. We can get to 100, guys. We just want to get to 100, right? Well, we'll figure it out later, but get us to 100.
Shout out to
subscribe.
my guy Javier.
Javier, what up?
Javier, he asked me yesterday while we were like hanging out. He asked me about our podcast. I threw him the information. He went up to YouTube, signed in there immediately, and subscribed. So I believe he was our last subscriber. So shout out to my man Javier for doing that, man. I appreciate the support, man.
Hey, appreciate it, Javier, our guy. It's number 73.
Yes, sir.
We listen. All we're doing here is we're just trying to build a community. Tim and I, we just do this for the giggles. We love the Texas Longhorns.
Yes, sir.
We're just here to build a community. So we really appreciate it.
We're here to build a community, and we want to be a one-stop shop for everything Longhorns, man. Like, listen,
yes, sir.
We love this. We want to do this. We want to make this something. We want to build a community that's so strong that we're able to do something on a permanent basis. I would love to cover the Longhorns on a day-to-day basis. That's actually the dream of mine, is to do that, to where we can go and get the inside scoop. We can go to SEC days. We can go to these practices at UT where we're actually from Austin and we're not transplants, and we've grown up in this city. We've seen this city grow up, and we actually love the city. We just we don't get paid to cover the team. We actually love the team, and that's what we want to do. So
yes, sir.
with your help, again, with your comments and your likes and sharing and all of that good nature, that puts us in a better seat to bring you guys more of the content that we want to bring you. And that puts us in front of other people, and that lets other people know that are in positions to make that happen, to let them know, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're doing something genuine. We're not doing this just for shits and giggles. We want to turn this into a situation where people can come and be who they want to be as far as Longhorn fans from all over the world. We've got some guys that are not even from this city or in the state, and they're following us, and they're big supporters, and we appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and just to mimic that, we listen. We do this for the community. We don't, we want to bring you guys the best content we can, and so any follows, subscriptions, comments, whatever you guys can do, likes to help us out, we'd really appreciate it. So, all right, Tim. Let's talk about the Final Four.
Man,
first off, we got to talk about shout out to Vic Schaefer and turning this program around.
Absolutely.
And knocking on the door the last 3 years, four straight Elite Eights, 4 of the last 5 years. Finally breaks the door down, gets into the Final Four, and I think it's special that he did it with this team,
right?
And let me say a couple things real quick. I don't think this Texas women's basketball team has played particularly well in this tournament, not to the level that we have seen them play throughout the season.
That's
right.
Yeah.
If you look at the Tennessee game, they struggled, I think, a lot against that press, right? But if you look at the game on Sunday against
Kansas State, they played
Kansas State?
Yeah.
TCU against TCU.
I'm thinking purple and white. My bad.
They were
TCU.
they were excellent defensively, but couldn't hit the backside of a barn on the offensive side.
No.
Right. But the thing that I think that makes this team really, really special is they don't stop fighting, and their
Not at all.
defense is their identity. And there's not a lot of schools out there where that's the case,
Right.
right? There's not a lot of forget schools. There's not a lot of basketball teams in general. If you
Yeah.
look at the NBA or you look at whatever level of basketball you want, there's not a lot of teams that have that like defense is our identity, right?
Mhm.
And this team, the defense is really their identity. And they are a take you to the doghouse, fight it out, and if you make it out, great. But most of the time, you won't.
Yeah.
And there's something about that style of play that I find really really enjoyable.
This is what I appreciate. I appreciate the effort from every single one of the starting five.
Yeah,
They play very, very hard. It's impressive. I'm gonna rip on the men's basketball team. I don't know what Vic Schaefer is doing. I don't know what Vic Schaefer is teaching. I don't know what the assistants are teaching. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but they are so disciplined to where it almost hurts. When I tell you this is one of the things that kind of that really let me know like this is a different team watching them against TCU on Saturday. And it was Madison Booker. Madison Booker comes down. She runs into a situation where she gets trapped. She gives up the ball. After she gives up the ball is passed around a couple times. She sets a pick, sets a screen. The girl with the ball, I want to say that was I don't know how to say her name. I don't want to butcher it.
Was it Haley, the point guard?
Is it the little one with the she got injured last year?
Yeah, the one that transferred from LSU.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Haley Van Lith. Yeah.
Yeah. So she screens Haley Van Lith. The other girl, the point guard comes up underneath. She pops the shot off. Madison Booker gets the rebound, pops the ball back in, and like it was just like every time the ball went up, because it was a series of missed shots, but every time the ball went up, you see them like react to that ball, and it was just that's taught. That is an expectation.
Correct.
That does not happen with the men's side. It is just a series of events that have happened where it was just like, God, they are so reactionary to the ball, no matter where it is, but especially when the ball is in the air. There was a 6'7" center on the other side, on the other team, that was a former Longhorn that got out rebounded by a 6'3" woman.
Yeah, and you know
that's impressive.
Prince was basically worthless in that game. Texas made her a problem for TCU versus an asset for TCU.
Right.
She had like 4 points. She ended up fouling out.
She fouled out.
Yeah. And she fouled out early in that fourth quarter too. Like they were they were on her. They were on her. Right. They were on her, you know what?
They attacked her. That's what they did. They attacked her. And they did what they needed to do. They got her up out of the game, and they got her up out of the game and early in the fourth quarter, and they were able to dominate from there.
4 points, 9 rebounds. So
that girl was a walking double for majority of the season.
And look, I'm not saying she's not good. She's very good, but
she's fantastic.
But man, Taylor Jones was excellent defensively. And then coming Kyla Olaker, man, what a game she played. Kyla Olaker was so good. Obviously, the play we'll all talk about is the interception and then going all the way, intercepting the ball and going all the way, for the N1 to kind of really seal the deal, right? She made so many good plays in that game. Just her touch around the rim is not spoken about enough. And just her ability to just like drop, not dimes, but like she just has this touch around the rim, and she's the backup center who is and honestly in most matchups a matchup nightmare. Like she actually did like size wise match up to Sedona Prince, and between her and Taylor Jones, like they wreaked havoc, and this team is just so well built, and it's built around an identity. And this is how I knew this team was going to be very good. And you already spoke about this a little bit. When your best player, Madison Booker, is fighting or over screens, and her first instinct when she gets back on defense is to play defense and play the ball,
it was impressive, dog.
At 3/4 court, right? That's how you know you got a really good team.
They played a physical. They played a physical TCU team. It was not easy. Listen, there was people falling all over the place. It wasn't a sloppy game, but it was very physical. That's just the nature of the beast. At this point in time in the year,
that's what you need.
That's what you need. And for the most part, I would say that the refs were letting them play. Now, there were obvious fouls. Okay.
Sure.
There's obvious fouls, but for the most part, the ref, I don't want to say he swallowed the whistle, but there was definitely, you could get physical in there. And so
I think in both games, like even in the Tennessee game, dude, look, Tennessee played full court press damn near the whole game.
Right.
And listen, Texas struggled, especially that third quarter or the second quarter. They struggled, but guess what? They stuck to the game plan. They stuck to their identity, and they figured it out, right?
Yeah.
I think Rory Harmon in that game at halftime was like, "We'll be fine. We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
And guess what they did? This team is if this team is hitting their jumpers, they don't take a lot of threes, and quite honestly, outside of Jordan Lee, they don't need to make a lot of threes.
They don't need to. They focus on getting rebounds. They focus on playing defense, and they smother you. I can't remember how many steals they got off, but they got so many steals. TCU turned that ball over so much, dude. It was
21 times.
How much?
21.
They had 7 in a quarter.
Yeah, TCU had 21 turnovers.
That's crazy. Did Texas get the double digits?
Yeah, they had 17 points off turnovers, right? Which honestly, for as many Texas should have blown this game out. No, they should have blown TSU. This should have been like a 20-point game, right?
Right. It should have.
When you get 21 turnovers and you're not getting a point you're not averaging a point per turnover, point per turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that's the only reason why this game was an 11-point game.
Yeah.
If Texas hits layups and jump shots off of these turnovers, this game is a blowout. I don't think TCU offensively had it. They're a 3-point shooting team. They don't drive outside of Haley Van Lith. They don't really drive a lot. They really predicate off of shooting threes. And then they have a post game, and if their post game isn't working, they've got no offense.
Right.
And their big three can't really work unless all facets of that three are working. Right. There's obviously Haley Van Lith is the driver. Sedona Prince is the post woman, and then they've got this other player. I forget her name. I want to say it's Connor, maybe.
Okay.
Madison Connor. Yeah. She's like their long range girl, right?
Right.
She's their deep threat, and she was a non-factor too. 9 points on 4 for 11 shooting. She took 6 threes and went 1 for 6. They took 20 threes as a team and only made 4.
That was not good. That's not good.
Texas took 3 and made 2.
That's all you need. They 66% from the field. That's all you need. If you can get the rebounds and you can get these other shots off and you can cause 21 turnovers, that's what the result of that is. That is what the result is. But you know what? There was no that lets me know that Texas played to their strength. They didn't overcompensate by jacking up a bunch of dumb shots from 3, ill-advised shots. They played under control. Again, there was a moment where the game did get a little tight, but they were able to rebound and play defense and get out of that. Now, they do play South Carolina
For the 4th time.
For the 4th time tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Plus. If Texas is to beat South Carolina, again, both of these teams are 30. No, both these teams only have 3 losses. Texas has beat them once. South Carolina came back and they did kind of run away with the second win. But if Texas beats South Carolina, because a lot of people have South Carolina as the favorite to beat to win a national championship, does Texas have a legitimate shot to win the national championship if they were to go in here and beat South Carolina? Because I believe this is me. If they beat South Carolina and they end up playing UConn and they have to play UConn, that's not good. Because
UConn's going to run them up and down the court, man. That team is so good.
Again, South Carolina, SEC team, physical. The last 2 games against South Carolina have been extremely physical. Yeah. This is later in the year. You know, normally you would get an opportunity, maybe a couple days to rest. They might get a day.
Yeah. And South Carolina hasn't particularly played well either in the tournament.
South Carolina has not played well, but they've been talented enough to kind of pull away. But you run into a team like Texas that doesn't need to take a lot of 3-point shots to win a ball game.
Right.
That goes to show that, again, this is a very defensive forward team. UCLA, one of the best defenses in the country. And then you got UConn. They do everything good. You know, they can shoot. They can shoot
by the end of
play
this,
defense.
Yeah, I think by the end of this, I think UConn's going to be the one that wins it all. And it's crazy to me to think that Gino Auriemma has been coaching for 40 years and people forgot about him.
I don't know how you forget about Gino Auriemma.
The greatest coach in the history of the sport.
The greatest coach.
And people forgot about him.
Coach. Let me ask you this. It's been since 1986 that the Texas women's basketball team has been in a championship game. If Vic Schaefer is able to pull this off, what do you think it does for this? What do you think it does for the program? And where does it put Vic Schaefer among the Texas coaches in sports in general? Because
if he gets there, is he the second best coach in the program?
Yeah, because the number one is Jody Conrad.
The swimming coach has to be the number 1 coach, right?
Has to be number 1. 2 or 3. But you got to think Jody Conrad is the.
You're talking about all time.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the second best women's coach of all time for sure. If he wins it all, he might be the best. If you look at Jody Conrad, right? Jody Conrad wins the title in '86, right?
Yep.
He doesn't go back to the Final Four until 2003. And then she doesn't do anything after that.
Right.
Vic Schaefer has been to 4 straight Elite Eights, gets to a Final Four, wins the title, is probably going to go back to the Final Four next year.
With a stronger
because team. Rory Harmon and Madison Booker are both coming back.
Yeah. Because what are they, freshmen? No.
Oh, no. Sorry. Rory Harmon's a senior. She's not coming. Unless she has the medical year, right? If she decides to use that. She might come back again.
I mean, if it's NIL money wise, why would you leave and go to the WNBA?
And Madison Booker's only a sophomore, dude.
Yeah.
Madison Booker's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
Like she's going to be amongst like player of the year candidates next year. Like she's going to be in that Juju Watkins, like that next like crop of women that take over this sport.
Yeah.
Imagine she develops a 3-point shot over the offseason.
Yeah.
Madison Booker might be, if she could develop a 3-point shot, she probably might be the best player in the country next year.
I think so, man.
Because she's great defensively. She's got a silky smooth 2-point shot. If she can just develop a 3-point shot, man, my God, she would be unreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, well, let me ask you this. Do you think they beat South Carolina?
I think they have a legitimate shot. I think if they can hold South Carolina and get them into foul trouble early, like when they actually beat them, they got them into foul trouble very early. Yeah. I think they got a shot. Now, you're going to need a couple of those 3-point shots to kind of come out a little early. If you can get one or two 3-point shots to land each quarter, you're looking at a situation where Texas could potentially have a pretty significant lead if those shots fall and they play the defense that they're supposed to. If Texas gets into a situation where they turn the ball over, and again, when they played South Carolina, that was also a very physical game. South Carolina out-rebounded them. South Carolina got to the ball. South Carolina played defense, and they didn't hold Madison Booker, but they did enough for everybody else to where they basically put it in Madison Booker's hands. And you don't want to get into that type of situation because you want everybody to be able to contribute, especially in a game like this. So,
agreed.
Again, South Carolina has not looked great, but they are beatable. We have beat.
They're very beatable. Yeah.
And it will not be the first, second, or third time. It will be a fourth time playing.
At this point, these two teams know each other very well.
Right.
Very, very well, right?
Right.
Madison Booker needs to be efficient in this game.
Right.
It's not, I don't even think it's about like getting an X amount of points. I think it's about making your shots and being efficient. Right. Rory Harmon was unreal against TCU. Like offensively, you're going to need that too.
Yeah.
Right. If Texas shoots 40% from the field, they win this game.
I agree. I can agree with that.
Because I think they're good enough defensively to hold South Carolina under 40% shooting. Right. They've already done that, right?
Yeah.
What Texas can do, because in the two blowouts, I'm looking at it right now, right? Let's just look at the last time these two teams played. South Carolina wins by South Carolina won basically by 20, right? Texas shot 30%.
Yeah,
South Carolina shot 40%.
Right.
42.5 base, 43%.
You can't let that happen. Yeah, you can't let that happen.
Yeah. Everything else was basically even. South Carolina won the rebounds by 2. Not a big deal. Texas had 2 more turnovers, 3 more turnovers. Like that stuff is going to be close. South Carolina was 3 for 13 from 3. Texas was 1 of 8. Neither team shot the ball particularly well. But guess where South Carolina did shoot well? They shot the 2-point basket really well.
Right.
And that's what Texas does the best. They shoot 2-pointers really well.
Yeah, mid-game range is really good.
Mid-game range is really good. Paint game's really good. Like that's where they're going to get their best bang for their buck. And if they can shoot 40% from 2, they probably win this game. Okay. And I'm going to bank that they're going to do that. I think they beat South Carolina.
I think so too. I just think that just playing that many times, dude, that gets annoying too. And when you things don't go your way,
especially that brand of basketball.
Yeah, things don't go their way. You know, it could really turn into a situation where things can get out of hand. So, again, shouts out to these guys. Shouts out to Vic Schaefer. Like again, I can't stress enough how important that guy has been to the women's basketball team within the last 10 years. It's been amazing. But you know, Madison Booker, Rory Harmon, they've been doing whatever they can. You can even throw Taylor Jones in there. Taylor Jones has been doing her thing.
She's really good.
She plays hella good defense. And they play relentless, and they play relentless the entire time. So again, congrats to them. Yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys covered with the game and our thoughts on it. Maybe we might do a live reaction, especially if they win, man. That would be
Yeah, if they win,
I just want to get on. Like, I want to be able to get on and gloat about something, to be completely honest. I just want
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That'll be super cool.
Yeah. But
let's set up Texas baseball for the weekend, because they've got a big series against Georgia. Another top 5 series.
Yep.
But another tough Tuesday loss for the Horns, losing 5-2 for the 4th straight time in Austin to Texas State.
Texas State,
I got a chance to go to this game. Texas State's a very good team.
Yeah.
They pitch very well. They've got some really good bats. And they are a very, very good team.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is I think I don't know what it is about the Tuesday pitching, and I got there a little bit late, so Texas was already down by the time I got there. And I left in the 8th inning because I had to get food for the family, right? So Texas had just taken the lead on that bulk play from the Texas State pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they load the bases and they don't do anything off of it. I think that was probably, if we're thinking about like an opportunity to blow that game open, that was their opportunity to blow that game open. And then I left because I had to leave. I didn't get to see the rest of the game, but I was scoreboard watching, and that Texas State ends up scoring 4 in the top of the 9th. That can't happen.
You can't let that happen. Yeah, no.
That cannot. You have to close that game out.
Right.
But everything I keep hearing about these Tuesday games in the SEC is they're tough. I mean, SEC teams have lost Tuesday games all season long.
Yeah.
Georgia's lost a couple Tuesday games. If LSU lost a Tuesday game. I mean, it's not. I don't want to say it's normal, but it's going to happen, right? When you have these like long, grueling series over the weekend, and then you basically you have a Sunday game, sometimes an afternoon, and most of the time afternoon games, sometimes night games, and then you have a game less than 48 hours later, right? That's tough, especially if you're traveling. And these are not professional ball players, guys. Like these are still college kids, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Like these are still young guys, right? And that's tough. So I don't know. I don't take too much from these Tuesday games, except it sucks when you lose these like Tuesday games because you want to win them, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, as long as you're winning the series in the SEC, that's all that's going to matter.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool experience overall. Very, very neat. The seats were awesome. I just like jokingly looked at like 2:00 in the afternoon just to see how much they were. Because actually, originally I thought the game was here in San Marcos, and I'm only 10 minutes from San Marcos. So I was just like, oh, let me just go, and I realized that the game was actually in Austin. I was like, oh, how much are the tickets? They were like $30.
Yeah.
$30. I sat in row 2 behind the dugout.
That's awesome.
It was row like 3. Like I could see Schloss from my seat.
That's awesome.
I can see the entire team like poking their head out of the dugout. You know how they like hang on the rail or whatever. Yeah, that's how close I was.
That's awesome.
It was sick, really, really sick. And I posted a picture of it on our Twitter page. Go check it out. Really cool. Really, it was a fun game. I realized I think maybe it's just sitting that close in the depth. Like when the ball goes in the air, it takes you a minute to go to find the ball.
Yeah.
Because you're so close to it, right? You're focused on it,
especially if you're like,
and you're trying to follow
chip it.
it. Yeah.
especially if you chip it off the head of the bat and it goes straight in the air. And
Yeah.
then you're looking at the catcher trying to locate the ball, and you're trying to
And
locate
by
the
the
ball.
time you find it,
Oh
it's
my
already
god!
like in the mitt or something. Like there was a
Yeah,
foul ball. There was a foul ball on a play, and I swear I didn't even see the ball until it was after it was caught, and everybody was like, "Yeah, they got the out." I was like, I just found the ball." And like
yeah,
it's yeah, we're on our next pitch. So, um, maybe if you're like that depth perception's an issue for you, I probably wouldn't sit that close. But the
yeah,
seats were sick. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie, the seats were kind of sick. Those same seats this for this weekend's game are probably like 4 times the cost.
Yeah.
Actually, let me check right now. Actually, they're not too bad. Tomorrow's game you can get in for as cheap as as cheap as 40 bucks.
That's not bad.
$35 is the cheapest seat in the house. Yeah, those same seats for tomorrow are
About 120.
$138.
Yeah, yeah,
I paid 38. So there you go. That's the difference.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it was good. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. I forgot it's been so long since I've been to the dish.
yeah.
I forgot like what it looked like. And it's a nice field, man. It is such a nice
It is
field.
a nice field. It is a wonderful field. We're lucky that we don't have to go that far in proximity as far as distance is concerned between
Yeah.
football, baseball, and basketball because they're
Yeah.
all right
And
there.
softball's right behind it, right?
Yeah, softball's right behind it. You got your diving and your swimming right next to the baseball field. So we are
All
very,
right there. It is
yeah,
all
it's
right
all
there.
in that area. So we're really lucky. We got some great facilities in the stadium for sure.
Big series starting tomorrow. I think the key in this series is you've got to win tomorrow.
Yeah,
The LSU series, like I don't, and even if you don't win, you can't play like you did in the LSU series that first game, right? Georgia's got through. They've got a really good pitching staff.
right.
And so I think a lot of what you did against LSU, and you're gonna have to play a lot of small ball, right? Get some singles, get some hits, get on base, cause some havoc. Like that's what they're gonna have to do, and they're gonna have to do that all weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if they win this series. Georgia's really really good, but you can't get swept. That's the one thing that can't happen. And you've got to win tomorrow to give you. I would much rather have an opportunity to go 2-1 first than have to come back and win 2 in a row after losing that first game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they win this series. What are your thoughts?
Listen, I don't know enough. I do know that at Tech, like any other Texas team within the last 4 to 5 years, like pitching has definitely been an issue. But we do have the horses. I would say we have the horses this year compared to last year. I have been able to watch quite more games than I have in the past just because of how, some of these games come on kind of late or they'll come on sparse in the middle of the day. So I've been able to kind of watch more. And honestly, they've just been putting more Texas games on the proper channels. We haven't seen a lot of these ESPN. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of these SEC games. Now, I think Texas, when they played Texas State, it was on the SEC network. But for the most part, a lot of these games, you can turn on ESPN locally and see Texas playing. So that's also a great thing. You don't have to go too far to watch your Longhorns playing, and especially with them being ranked and stuff. So
This is a top 5 series, and it's not on SEC Network.
no,
It's on SEC Plus.
yeah,
That's terrible.
Normally that because of college basketball, it's been bumped. If this
No,
was
do you know there is an SEC Network game?
who
Missouri and
LSU?
No. I literally just saw it. Where did it go? Oh, Missouri and Arkansas.
Oh yeah, no, they need to switch that.
Like I get Arkansas is the number 2 team in the country, but they're playing Missouri.
I mean, they are the number 2 team in the country, and Texas is getting.
Yeah, but this is a top 5 matchup. Texas is 5, Georgia is 3.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Again, I don't know the politics of baseball.
I don't either.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's not in my realm. But I just know this: Texas can't be they can't be giving up runs, and they can't be lousy and lackadaisical in pitching like they have been in the past. Now, this past season they've gotten a lot better, cleaned up a lot more. But Texas also we know they have the bats. We know they got the ball. We know they've got the pitchers. Let's try to bring this together and get a couple of games. If you drop a game, cool. But you cannot, to me, you can't lose this series in particular. Not to this Georgia team. Because this Georgia team ain't going nowhere. And right now, if you beat them, you really set yourself up in the SEC.
You really do.
You really do. You
really
gotta beat them. Because right now, Texas is second in the SEC in their division, right?
It's Georgia. I'm about to pull it up. So SEC standings, baseball. I think Texas is like 2 or 3.
I want to say Texas is 3.
4. 4. And there's basically a 4-way. There's basically a 4-way tie at the top, right?
Right. Yeah.
Arkansas is 1.
Right.
Technically, Georgia's 2, Tennessee 3, Texas 4.
Right.
So Georgia's now won 9 in a row.
Right.
Right.
Before
Tennessee,
this game, Texas was all right. So
they were on a little win streak, right? They'd won like 16 of 17 or something crazy like
that. So in this instance, you're jockeying right now. You're jockeying for a top position. Any of those teams lose, you get an opportunity to put yourself that much closer. If you can beat the number 2 team, this just puts you right back in the swing of things. Let's say Tennessee drops a game or 2 over the weekend. Who knows what could happen with them? Now you're putting yourself in a situation to get to number 1. Arkansas is playing against Missouri. We would love to see them. I don't want them to lose.
No, they're not. Arkansas's not losing a game. Arkansas. I saw Arkansas. I saw us play Missouri last week. Missouri's terrible. Like they're really bad.
Yeah.
But hey, LSU plays Oklahoma this weekend. The LSU could drop a game, right?
Yeah. There's opportunities for Texas to solidify a spot in the top. They're already up there. They just need to keep doing what they need to do to stay up there.
Tennessee plays A&M. You think A&M steals one?
Possibly.
A&M's 1-9 in the SEC.
They may be able to get one off. They can get one off. That
is it wrong that I just want Tennessee to sweep A&M?
No,
I don't like. Is that like I don't really care about the standings. Just continue. I want to continue to see them back.
Listen, A&M has not found their footing. I have seen an A&M game.
They're not good. They're not good.
They look lost. They did not do what they should have done now they have had a high,
but they've got a great team.
They do got a great team, but when your leader is taken away, what does that leave you with?
Rodney Terry's.
Imagine if Sark got pulled and I don't know, the New Orleans Saints was like, hey, come be a head coach for the New Orleans Saints. And he's like, all right, peace, I'm out. What do you think that team's going to look like?
You think here's the question. If Kyle Flood, right, takes over as the Texas Longhorns head coach, would they be like 1-8?
I don't think they'd be 1-8, but they'd definitely be 5-7. I can see that happening.
That's basically what we're talking about, right? Yeah. If Steve Sarkisian left and Kyle Flood took over, what would the Texas football team with the same Arch Manning as a quarterback, like the same roster they have right now?
You got to think about the people that are there, the offensive linemen, the people in these opportunities to leave. They've got to do something. They don't leave.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's hilarious that A&M's 1-8 in the conference. They're a 500 team overall. I just think it's awesome.
Anyway,
by the way, did you hear that A&M swung and missed again?
No. Who they swing at?
They swung and missed twice this week.
They did. They tried to go get
They tried to go get Chris Beard.
And he said no thanks.
He said no thank you. And then today they tried to go get Grant McCaslin, which is the Texas Tech head coach. He also said no.
Damn. What is it about that culture at A&M that nobody wants to be a part of
Bunch of
anymore?
weirdos, man. Like, here's the I think there's a couple things. Like when you look at like a place like A&M, right? It's not a big college town. You've been to College Station. It's
Yeah.
probably like what 10 miles long.
I mean, it is not a big place, but it is a heavily like all they care about is A&M. They
Have
don't
you been to
care-
Lubbock? Have you been to Lubbock?
Oh yeah, I've been
Okay.
to love it.
If you were like, hey, Tim, I'm gonna give you a job that's worth $2 million, right? Every single year. But the only caveat is you have to pick. You can either live in Lubbock or you can live in College Station. What are you picking?
I'm picking Lubbock.
Exactly.
It is farther away, and they do have some crazy weather out there, and it is flat. It is flat.
But it's not A&M.
And look, College Station is not that far from here.
No, it's like
College
what,
Station-
two like hour and a half?
Hour and a half from here. College Station is an hour and a half from here, and you can get to Houston real quick from College Station.
Yeah.
What I'm not doing is I'm not going to College Station. Now,
Exactly.
I'm not sure. I'm not trying to be biased. It is a very weird culture.
It's a weird place to go. Yeah.
Like Chris Sims and Coach Sark had a whole conversation about culture and how changing the culture affects everything.
I
And
didn't
you know,
go watch
Sims,
that.
former Texas Longhorn quarterback, he has been very, very vocal about the Longhorns in general, whether it be about head coaches, whether it be about players, whether it be about boosters making interfering with potential head coaching jobs and getting the right players into the University of Texas so that they can return to its glory.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything bad to say about Coach Sark, and him and Coach Sark did an interview today. It was about 20 minutes. It wasn't very, very long, but it was still a very insightful information. I'll make sure to post some of that information up for you guys to see if you haven't seen it. But it was very insightful, and he did talk about culture, and he did talk about like, hey, like this is the place to be, like not only because this is a place where you want to raise your family, but like this is a place where these guys get to thrive, and these guys get to turn from kids to grown men, and that is what they want to do. And Sark has been very vocal about turning boys to men and giving them the keys to success, not only in football but outside of life.
Yep.
And A&M's culture, I don't know about A&M's culture. I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend. But from what I've seen from other players, from other coaches, is that it is not necessarily the greatest culture. It is very rooted in traditions that they do have, whether it be the Yell leaders, whether it be them claiming to have named Bevo, like a whole number of things. When somebody is coming in, and again, you got somebody like Schloss that came in and totally changed that place, but you could clearly see he was unhappy. I felt like he can only do so much to where he felt like, oh, okay, I got to get up out of here. And that is basically what happened. Because me and Harish talked about this last year around this time before Schloss got taken from A&M.
Well, last year this time we didn't know he was going to get taken, right? But like June around this time, yeah.
We didn't
June
know,
around this time, yeah.
But we were also making fun of Schloss clearly not being a part of that culture. He didn't want any parts of it.
When your culture is literally built off of hating another school, like that's weird, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then when you like everything they do, it's about being better than Texas.
Yeah.
And for a school, and this is the weird part, right? The school on its own has just as much money as Texas.
Yeah. And at times
they're just so hell bent on comparing themselves to everything Texas does when they cannot meet the expectation, but they have the same reason. They have the same. Their pipeline is literally right there. Texas is between pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
Their pipeline is literally down the street, and they're terrible.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting all this talent from Houston.
They've got a lot.
And
you've got a lot.
They haven't been able to produce anything out of it.
Right.
Ever. Yep. Ever. This is the best run their basketball teams I think ever had. This is the best season their basketball teams ever had. They only got to the Sweet 16. But hey, anyway, that's their problem, not ours.
Yep.
It's just funny. So little brother continues to swing and mess. We'll continue to point and laugh as we figure out what mid coach they raise to be somebody he's not next. You got Mike Elko kind of on an island of his own, right?
Mm-hmm. Another
mid coach that they were just trying to pretend like is like the next greatest thing. He's just okay.
Yep.
The basketball coach, like when Buzz Williams leaves your school.
Buzz Williams did leave.
It's not like he's a great coach either.
Buzz Williams, I think Buzz Williams is great. Buzz Williams leaves A&M and goes to Maryland.
Maryland is a good basketball school.
Maryland is a good basketball school.
Very good basketball
has had history in the last 20, 30 years. They have had some history. Now, don't get me wrong. A&M has definitely had some ballers come out of there in the last 20 years at A&M. I remember the
basketball program. The basketball program has.
Yeah, dog. Do you not remember those battles?
AC Law,
Augustine, and AC Law.
I mean, that's the last great player they've had was AC Law.
I would say one of the Bennett brothers, because if I'm not mistaken, one of the Bennett brothers played at Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken.
But did he go to the NBA?
No, he went to the NFL. It was Michael Bennett and Martellus. I want to say it was Martellus Bennett that played basketball at A&M.
Oh, he played basketball too.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
I don't follow.
It goes to show, like, if you think about the Bennett brothers, they are not.
They're really good, but I don't follow.
They're really good, but they're up here. I don't know what's going on up there, but they are very talented.
They went to A&M. Nobody really knows. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. We'll continue to laugh. Spring football up. Look, guys, there's really not a lot happening. I think full patch just went on yesterday. Haven't really heard a lot. The only thing that I think we should call out for spring football is Ryan Wingo hamstring injury. Most likely going to be held out the rest of the spring. And then Jordan Washington, tight end. I heard shoulder. I read shoulder. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's serious from what I've read and heard. I don't think it's serious. But I think next week we need to do, obviously we'll talk about what happens in the Final Four for the women. Mm-hmm. We'll do a full spring deep dive next week and just kind of go into everything and talk about everything we've heard.
Okay.
So
sure.
But that's all I got, man. We're at 110. So you got anything else?
No, man, we're good. Listen, I appreciate y'all coming in and following us. I appreciate y'all. As we get closer to the summer, we will get more information about EA Sports College Football. We're definitely going to cover that. Again, I've seen a couple more things in, but I don't necessarily want to give out information. I don't want to feed you guys bits and pieces just yet, because to me, it's not enough information. It's not information worthy for us to like carve out a piece of the show to be like, let's fill you in on the latest college football information. I did see that Reese Davis has, he's been, doing his normal duties and making sure that he calls out every single nickname in college that's going to be in the game, which he said earlier this morning. He dropped a video that said he did over 150. So that leads me to believe that they have truly expanded this game. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was at 122 or 120. Now we're looking at 150 plus teams. That means 30 extra teams have been added. We don't necessarily know what teams have been added yet. As we get closer and we find out that information, we will give that information up to you. But to me, that wasn't information to be like, hey, we need to talk about this in the show. So once we get more information, we get a trailer, we get a date, a solid date for announcement. Of course, we'll get that information out to you. Again, we're in that 90-day period. This is a weird, a really weird time for gaming in general. We just got the Switch launched. Actually, I want to say something cool about that. EA Sports is releasing a college football game on the Switch. So that's going to be
confirmed.
That's confirmed.
That's confirmed.
They
college
are releasing
college football 26 is coming to Switch.
They are releasing both college football and Madden are coming to Switch, and FIFA.
Really?
That was included within the press conference for the Switch 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that is a thing.
Okay,
so,
that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
No. That's
again not worthy enough for us to carve out a place in the show and be like, y'all need to listen to this. But
that's kind of cool. Like if I'm traveling and I want to do some Dynasty mode on the plane, that's actually kind of lit.
Yeah. It's lit. It's definitely lit. It's gonna cost you $90 for that game, but it's gonna be lit. Yeah. So, like I said, as we get closer to that, we will provide you more information. If need be, we will do live updates, especially if it's a big update. They announce a cover athlete, hoping that we get an Arch Manning cover. I'm hoping we get that. I know we're not gonna get it, but I'm hoping.
The one big like rumored cover is the one with like some players, some coaches.
Oh well, that's the definitive edition.
Okay, so that is a real cover. I think that one is so. There's obviously going to be like a coach's edition, right? And there's going to be a Legends edition and like a definitive whatever digital XD whatever. Like no, but it's one thing we can just based off of that cover. One thing that I probably at 95% at this point, there's coaches will be in the game.
Yes, for sure.
Real coaches will be in the game.
Lane Kiffin was definitely a coach that was in the game. That was on.
I was looking for Sark, but I definitely saw Lane Kiffin. I saw James Franklin on that cover. And I saw a fan in an Arch Manning t-shirt. Did you notice that on that picture?
Yes, I did. That's what I was hoping for.
I saw a fan in an Arch Manning t-shirt, which to me means I hope there's like fans in jerseys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In crowds this year.
Like the old college game.
That would be sick.
2001 to 2012, where they made it very fan centric, where you could make your own signs and stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it right now. I see James Franklin. I see obviously some mascots. I see DJ Lagway here, which is kind of dope.
Yep.
Obviously you see Ryan Williams. I thought this called Ryan Williams and the wide receiver from Ohio State front and center. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see Smokey, you see some IU flags. I swear maybe I was just delusional, but I swear I thought Grant Nussmeier's in here. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yep, I did.
Yeah, lots of SEC in here. The running back from Penn State's in here. I thought I saw a fan with like an Arch Manning t-shirt on.
What if we get a Ryan Williams, a Jeremiah Smith, and an Arch Manning?
Jeremiah Smith, that's his name. And what?
What if we got an Arch Manning, a Jeremiah Smith, and a Ryan Williams cover? That would be.
Yeah, I don't think Arch is going to be on this cover. I think Arch is going to be on next year's cover.
Okay.
Where they can basically be like, yo, like Texas is gonna go for a national title. They're the best team in the country.
Right.
Here's Arch Manning, right?
Right.
Like I think they're gonna wait till next year. And I feel like that's more of like a Arch Manning thing than it is like EA.
Could be.
Like it would have been the obvious thing to do to put Arch Manning on the cover. He will get the cover.
They wanted.
There's still an edition out there we don't know about.
I would not be again. I got that cover from EA, that Vince Young cover that never made it to. That never made it to this to the streets. But I definitely got it, and so I took it from one of the guys at EA, and I've been having it, and I don't want to give it up. But like I said, the more news that comes out, we'll be able to update you, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be on TikTok. If TikTok is still here, we will continue to update it. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen with TikTok. Right. We won't know until we find out. But guess what? We're going to continue to update that information regardless. So make sure you guys continue to follow us. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Parish, where can they find you, my guy?
Real quick, the only other thing that's confirmed is players are going to get $1,500 this year instead of $6,000. So
yes, that is true.
The Uncle Gandhi on Twitter, everywhere, honestly, and then Longhorn Fan Battle. Give us a follow there.
Yep.
That's it. Short and simple. What you got? Where can they find you?
At Tim Wayne, short and simple on TikTok. I appreciate you guys interacting with us on TikTok, man. I really do appreciate it. We got some pretty hardcore followers on there. So again, we appreciate that. Make sure you guys, if you guys are participating, make sure you guys keep up with your brackets. We will be announcing the information and the winners next Thursday. And we will definitely look to get in contact with you so that we can get those digital gift certificates out to you. We do appreciate you guys for supporting us. It is doubled in size on both sides within the last year. So we appreciate you guys. It is a tight race on the men's side. It is a tight race. There's between 1 and 5. There's maybe 30 points that separate 1 and 5. So it could literally be anybody's game. I look forward to it. We only got 2 more games in the college football season. So again, thank you guys to the guys that signed up. Thank you to the guys that pushed it out there, because I did see quite a few people retweet the tournament link. So again, thank you. We appreciate you supporting us. We just want to do something to give something back to the community for being down with us for this last year and some change. So we appreciate it, and you guys continue to follow us, and we'll keep you updated.
And that's it. My name's Reesh. That's my guy, Tim Wayne. We out of here.
Yes, sir. Till Gabriel.
Go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard. Go home.